I guess what's unique about me, I think probably I traveled the furthest in the room to get here, as I live in the U.S., but I think I am extremely passionate about connecting people, especially under the context of digital transformation. While that's the context of how we bring people together, really what we are as a company, what we're focusing on is bringing people to connecting people no matter where they are. So again, my name is Sam Kennedy. My role is I'm the Chief Product Evangelist for Poly. So I spend most of my time traveling around the world, talking to our key customers and partners, talking about what our technology roadmap and strategy. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of who we are and what we're focusing on. If we can bring up the slides, it's coming. Okay. So again, as you saw in the video, I think, as you said, I don't know, maybe I didn't even need to come up, but what I wanted to focus on is, again, what we're focusing on as a company is we are focusing on that human-to-human connections, from a one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many, and enabling the products that deliver that. And again, especially under this context of digital transformation, we are focusing on a lot of the different things that were already talked about, things like natural language processing. And so let me walk you through a couple of things that we are, of who we are. So in 2018, Plantronics and Polycom came together. We formed this new company of Poly. And while we make lots of different products, I'll walk through some of that. We're actually, as I look at some of the numbers and some of the statistics around who we are, we're actually about a month away from a pretty significant anniversary. So it'll be the 50th year anniversary of landing on the moon. And actually, when the words were stated that this is a giant leap for mankind, that was on a Plantronics headset. So we have a very strong legacy of connecting people, even when they're not on the Earth. Now, who are we, or what are the markets that we play in? So we're in a $40 billion overall market in the UC and C space. Our particular part of the market, we address about $7 billion. We have a total addressable market about $7 billion. But really who we are is we're a device leader. We attach to the different unified communications solutions that many of you have. Our strategy is to deliver devices that attach to those different ecosystems. And we are absolutely a leader around around innovation. Can I think of things like we were talking about earlier around natural language processing and delivering solutions where I can control the conference room via voice. We just recently introduced that with some of our integration with Amazon. We're doing things like, I heard it's augmented intelligence, maybe is what I just heard. We're doing some AI with camera tracking, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But again, our focus is to absolutely be a leader in our space. So who we are and what we make video devices, we make conference phones, we make desktop phones, and we make headsets. And we bring it all together with a set of services and software. And one of the reasons that it made so much sense to bring Polycom and Plantronics together is we have that full suite of solutions. There's really no overlap. We look at it as we are the devices that everyone is, we are the devices that people touch, feel, wear all day long. We are that last mile that's connecting your users to the technology, and we put a lot of emphasis on that. And so, again, I think if you look at what we're focusing on, it's really to make your end user experiences, or your users, have a much easier day when they're needing to collaborate with different people. Now, another key part of our overall strategy, and this is one of the areas where Plantronics and Polycom are very well aligned, was we have a set of management analytics and a big focus around interoperability. So the two companies had a similar strategy of delivering these solutions for all of you as CIOs. Now, there's a huge transformation that's happening within our industry, and that shift is that many of your users are using different technologies to be able to communicate with each other. In fact, we recently did a study with Forrester that stated 84% of enterprises need the ability to connect to 2 or more cloud-based platforms. So think of the likes of Microsoft Teams and WebEx and GoToMeeting and BlueJeans and LogMeIn and Zoom. And there's just all of these different platforms that your users are having to connect to every single day. I'd say 3 years ago, 4 years ago, everyone was on a single platform in their organization, and that's just the way it was. But in the last 3 years, we've seen just a tremendous shift to users needing to connect to multiple platforms. And so this is a real challenge for a lot of users, and something that we're out there to solve. And we're very well aligned to solve those challenges because our strategy is to align with many of the different organizations and platforms that many of you have out there, with the likes of Amazon and Cisco and BroadSoft and Google and HP and Zoom. For us and Microsoft, obviously. So for us, we're putting a lot of emphasis on the strategic partners that will allow that seamless experience for the users. Now for us, we have a multifaceted approach to connecting to those different platforms. So as I said, the users have the need to connect to many different platforms. As I said, 84% need 2 or more. And so what our strategy is, we go about it in a way that is pretty unique in the market. No one else is doing what we're doing. And so when I look at how we integrate into these ecosystems, I break it up into 3 key areas. The first one is around interop mode. What we're doing with interop mode is really trying to make it simple for your users, that when someone schedules a meeting, think all of your users are scheduling meetings all day long, right? They go into Outlook, they have a little add-in in Outlook, being Teams or WebEx or Zoom or whatever application they want to use. They go into Outlook, they schedule their meeting, they click the add, and all the information goes into the email, or to the invite. They click send, and that's how our users schedule meetings every day, right? Everyone in this room, that's how you schedule your meetings. And so what we're looking to do is users follow that workflow. Don't do anything different if video is needed. But the joining experience is really what we're out there to solve. So when someone walks into a conference room and they need to join one of those meetings, all they do is they click the join button. It doesn't matter if it's a WebEx meeting or a Microsoft Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting. And one if they're right after the other. If in one meeting it's a Zoom meeting, the next user walks in a Microsoft Teams meeting, the next user it's a WebEx meeting. They didn't have to do anything different. And that's really the key of what we're trying to, of what we're solving, is really simplifying that experience for scheduling, simplifying that joining experience. And I've been doing this for 20 years. I know I continue to hear from CIOs and from IT that takes 20 minutes to start a meeting. I can't have meetings, it's too complicated. I need to have my IT staff walk into the conference room to start my meetings. Well, that's not the case anymore. We've absolutely simplified that experience, and that's what we have with Interop. We also deliver a number of USB devices. That's one of the new devices in the studio. I'll talk about that in a second. We're also delivering native solutions as well. So we're working with the likes of Zoom and Microsoft and taking their software, running their software on our devices. So if you have a strategy around Microsoft with Teams, it's a big shift that's going on in the market right now, or if you're talking to others like Zoom, absolutely talk to us, because we have the full set of solutions, from headsets to conference phones, to desktop phones, to video devices, for all of these different players. Now, as mentioned, we have a number of different devices. We have, really, as we look at it, is 2 focus areas. There's group systems and there's personal systems. One device that I would encourage, if you're not familiar with it, I would encourage you to come take a look at the booth, and that is the Trio. That is the conference phone in the upper left-hand corner. That device right there is absolutely transforming the way that users are working. At its heart, it's a Polycom speakerphone, and so that many of your users, they don't need to be trained on how to use it. They're just comfortable. They walk into the room, they've never seen a Trio before, but they're just not afraid to touch it. And what we're seeing is really great adoption, because we have all those platforms that we can integrate with in a very simple way. by leveraging our speakerphone, they've been trained to use these for so long, they're not afraid they're going to break it. And in the conference room, that's a really big deal. So again, if you haven't seen the Trio, I would go over there and take a look at it. And the other piece I would mention is we do have the full set of solutions around headsets. I think under the context of a digital transformation, we're seeing a big shift from smartphones to headsets. And we have the full suite of solutions for headsets. If it's mono headsets, if you want the big headsets, if you want a call center headsets, we have a full wide range of solutions. And again, I'd encourage you to come take a look at that, as we're really putting a lot of money into delivering what we've had to take where we are and really build it out into the future. And a big part of that is to tie into those different ecosystems. Now, I did want to just spend a minute. I'm here in India because we are now launching this new product here. So there's a couple of events we've been having to align with the launch of this new Polycom Studio. And again, we saw it in the video there for a minute, but really what the Polycom Studio is, it's an all-in-one speaker, it's an all-in-one device that includes the microphones, cameras, and speakers in that single device. Now, it does require a connection to a USB, it needs to be powered by something. So think of the use case being that one of your users needs to get on a meeting, but they want to bring their own device, right? It's one of the big shifts around the digital transformation in our space in the conference room. Is users walking into the conference room with their laptop, with their Mac. They want to have the client that's on their personal device. They walk in, they plug USB into this device. They have the call from their laptop, but they're able to leverage the cameras, the microphones, and the speakers that are built into the studio. Really three things that differentiate us from anyone else in this space. Number one, the audio is amazing. I mean, it is absolutely incredible audio. Has eight microphones, so the mic pickup is quite incredible. We say 12 foot, but it goes well beyond 12 feet. We do things like noise block. If you're not familiar with that, think of someone's in a meeting and they're eating potato chips, is the kind of joke we always say. They're eating potato chips, they're making noise, it's non-verbal noise. We'll actually block that audio out. So lots of really great audio innovations. If we're Polycom or Plantronics or Poly, we deliver world-class audio. We're also doing amazing things with video. So we're doing speaker tracking and we're doing facial recognition that's actually not facial recognition, but recognizing a face. So we actually zoom in on, if you're speaking, the camera can actually zoom in on you. So really driving an AI-driven experience there. And then the other key thing, so okay, great audio, great video, but also we deliver the ability to manage these devices. This is a really big deal, giving you the power so that if we come out with a new feature, we're always coming out with we actually do agile development. We're constantly coming out with features. We actually have quarterly releases on the studio. And so as we come out with new features, you're going to want the ability to do software updates. You're going to want to be able to provision. You're going to want to be able to pull off analytics. And all of that is capable with the Polycom Studio. So again, I would encourage you to come take a look at the booth. It's an amazing, I've been using it for probably about 6 months now, and I use it every day, but I absolutely love it. Again, I'd encourage you to come take a look at that. Now, again, I think one of the key differentiators for us, and we spend a lot of time, or not a lot of time, I guess, but I definitely spend time talking to customers that they just want cheap. The cheapest is I just want to go with cheap. And I can tell you, cheap isn't always the right way to go. Especially, I think, for senior leaders in IT. One of the really key differentiators for us is the ability to manage, provision, pull off analytics. You want, if something changes, if there's a security patch that happens, you want to make sure that you can roll out that security patch or that new feature, or you want to be able to pull off the analytics off of every device that you have out there. And so one of the key differentiators for us is we put a lot of emphasis on that ability to be able to manage provision and pull off analytics across the board, from headsets to phones to conference room devices, speaker phones and video devices. So again, I would encourage you, again, as you're looking at this digital transformation, to absolutely spend time looking at the management capabilities. And I think with Poly, you'll see that we do have that full suite of solutions. And lastly, I can't help but brag a little bit. It came a long way, but we spend a lot of time on end user experiences. We spend a lot of time on the look and feel of our devices, and we're getting recognized for some of this. In fact, I was part of an Enterprise Connect, which was one of the bigger events that maybe some of you are aware of it in the U.S. We actually won the best device was the best communication and collaboration device. We beat our #1 competitor on a like device, so we're really proud. And again, that's why I would encourage you to come take a look at it. So again, just a quick introduction to what's going on at Poly. You can see lots of new products, bringing Polycom and Plantronics together. We now have that full suite of solutions for you, as from the desktop to the conference room. And again, I'd encourage you to come take a look at the booth and see some of this in action. So with that, thank you very much.